Blade. And I think the Enigma is going to be fine as well in the Templar Assassin lane. I do think Arna's going to be able to farm, but I don't think they're going to stop Force from getting his item. So no, I think Polaris will have a very fine time in these lanes.
Yep, I am in complete agreement with you. So I've been wrong with my last ditch prediction every single time. So for T1 fans, you are going to be very happy that I think Polaris is going to win this one.
I know you often like to look at the lanes in particular. Like if it's a very, very close draft, you like to look at the lanes and say, all right, if one team's got an advantage in multiple lanes, you know, they're I might just give them the slighted advantage here in this game. Is that something we're doing here? Do you feel like that's why you're just giving a bit of an edge to Polaris because of how the lanes are looking for them?
No, not necessarily. I mean, I feel like the PL is great carry-to-carry matchup against the TA. You can't deal with all the illusions all at once, and it's very clear that the main priority for Polaris is going to be find that Zeus, because if you do, then realistically, there's nothing that can deal with this PL. Natsumi is set up to just have another game where he pops off. So there's that. You also have Earthshaker and an Omni Knight, which do basically nothing against the push coming through from... TikTok, from the Enigma and the Eidolons. So I think Whitemon needs to play this lane incredibly well if they're going to stand any chance in T1.
The battle begins.
I mean, he did in game 1. I think he was the carry, the true carry in game number 1 with his Dazzle. Really winning them the game, stopping that Axe Skywrath combination from blowing up both Cuckoo and Topson. So we'll see. I want to see how he skills this lane as well. I really want to see him put points into the Purification, and I want to see him get a little bit more mana regen, just so that he's able to stay using that in the lane as much as possible to clear out those Eidolons, because they're not super tanky at level 1. It's just 180 HP, so Purification and a couple of right clicks, they're dead.
As the mid lane clashes for the last time in this series, we're going to get a Gauntlet challenge. Okay, Lelouch doesn't accept it. Come on, disappointed. What's something on the line? I mean, Force has been very vocal through the... Even Whitemon's going to follow up as well. I like it very much. Exactly on cue. It's like we got a bit of a read there. It's the Force tonight, but... Yeah, we mentioned the draft. This mid matchup, it's going to be fine between both sides. They'll get their farm. Lelouch didn't actually start with a stick, which is probably the one interesting thing. He's just going to look to rush the bottle, which is now coming out of the courier, and he will go stick afterwards.
Force is just getting all that solo experience, wanting to make sure that he picks up those early levels as quickly as possible. Ooh, actually looking to make a little bit of a counterplay come through on Xavius. Surprisingly enough, Force, obviously he was preoccupied in the lane, but I think 3 of the Eidolons actually died to Whitemon previously, so he's gotten a lot of extra gold that he probably wouldn't have been expecting out of this lane, and I just want him to continuously be playing up in the face of those Eidolons and clearing them out as quickly as possible.
And with our other side lane, like we were mentioning, that PL is going to have a very good time versus the Batrider. What are we expecting that T1 can do to maybe offset this? Do they need to just play and avoid the lane, just kind of drag and not have this natural setup, or is that maybe not the play here?
Well, I think it's actually a little bit different now that the sticky napalm does damage, so it's not necessarily like the harassment coming through onto Natsumi, it's more about just the farm trade. So I think Cuckoo's actually going to get a really good amount of farm in this lane because, you know, I just saw him use a sticky napalm that had already 4 stacks onto the range creep, and it did about, you know, 60 damage just on its own. So it's really easy now to be able to get these last hits and not necessarily rely purely on the Earthshaker to be able to do that top side. Oh no, he's actually getting focused down here, and oh, there we go. The strong lane, as soon as they hit level 2, are able to go for these kills, and we've even just leveled up on Xavius as well.
That's scary because now with that extra point of the Eidolon, yeah, I see Lelouch is playing around with Topson at the moment. It's going to be another lane that both these heroes will have a lot of reliance on the power runes. Lelouch in particular, maybe to make some rotations. Topson, you know, Regen and Arcane to help out. Even a Haste maybe just to think about rotating. But once he gets level 6, definitely the side lanes do have to be a little bit wary of that burst potential.
Arna has to be very careful here. I mean, he could just get jumped in on, but maybe just wanting a few bit of a longer duration on the Eidolons to be able to make that play. Trying to kill Xavius now with this small window that you don't have the Eidolons off cooldown. He's going to need a little bit more mana just to be able to summon the demonic conversions. Xavier's positioned himself really well to be able to block up that small camp to make sure that the lane stays in this super dangerous position for Ana. Might look to go for it here. Just keeps denying out that range creep. Just got to keep microing, though, to make sure that you're not giving up these Eidolons for free. Might be able to get the pull-up as well. Will this make the lane a bit safer? Oh, doesn't quite get it. So a bit of a mistake coming through, although Lelouch, he's getting chased down here, and Zephyr is going to join Thompson in the mid lane, but looks like they've at least secured the top water rune for Lelouch.
Yeah, he was doing a really good job from Zephyr. Even I believe he unblocked the Ancients and how he can make some stacks here for the TA. Probably the Bat Rider first. We'll take those stacks, and he's also now going to double the hard camp as well. So, you know, you mentioned Cuckoo's probably going to have a decent time. He's doing it at the moment. Now that AU has 2 points in the Shadow Poison, their spam might be a little bit more difficult. So Cuckoo, you already see his itemization. It's got some raindrops ready to play with. The Magic Wand charges as well.
The one area that T1 are really getting ahead of Polaris right now is just the control with these camps close to the lane. Top lane, they've been able to keep this one unblocked by Whitemon.
On top lane,
Ana.
He's in some trouble. Refraction still available. Gonna try and go under the cover of the meld, and they don't have detection. He will pop out, but Xavius has already used his round of spells, so they're gonna be okay.
And then on the bot side as well, Cuckoo, he's able to continue farming back close to his own tower. He's actually going to go for a bit of a play here onto Natsumi, who pops the doppelganger, but Cuckoo's fine with that. It just means that he can't really look to move on forward and get a lot of these last hits a bit more easily.
This wave is going to give Thompson his level 6 though, so even Lelouch has his own, so Thompson's going to be pretty cautious. Of course, can play around with a heavily jump. As long as Lelouch has a wall to bounce back on, could have some threat, but Thompson having that Thunder God's Wrath now could open up the kill. See, they were trying onto Natsumi bottom, but a nice doppelganger when Zephyr was charging up the fissure.
I think that was just bait from Zephyr. He wants him to bait out the usage of all of this mana, just so that he could look to make those plays onto him with the Thunder God's Wrath.
They forced out the heavily jump, but they're going to be fine. Now they can turn it back around with Whitemon's TP. They'll chase down Xavius. He'll take away the Vision Rune at least. And Thompson's out of mana, so they won't even get the kill. Very nicely done. They kind of bait the TP from Whitemon. I guess it is a Rolling Thunder expender from Lelouch, which early on is like 90%.
Ana, he went out of the meld. He went out of the meld. He was there. He wasn't under the cover of a Sentry Ward, and he just right-clicked someone. Oh, no. You can't be giving up kills like that in this lane that's already so difficult for you.
Bottom lane.
Bottom lane so well.
Have they done the damage to get the Thunder Gods out? They're lacking the mana at the moment from the Zeus. So Natsumi will be fine.
Went into the strength towards, had enough time for the magic.
He might be able to kill off Cuckoo. Up to 4 stacks. Zephyr's going to hold him back at the moment. Nice sidestep from Cuckoo. Now they can go back in because Cuckoo himself is finding some sticky napalm stack. It's a very interesting lane we have down bottom. Just, you know, both the Shadow Demon and the Bat Rider wanting to play their distance, just to spam out the abilities, but this time it's going to be Cuckoo that comes out on top.
It's all about playing around those cooldowns, right? Making sure that Cuckoo's got the Firefly available, playing around that doppelganger. Natsumi actually getting backed up a little bit here by Xavius, and it's a big rotation unless Zephyr's able to get a great Fisher off.
Perfectly done. Lelouch, another kind of movement out of Polaris that's going to be stopped here. So they're going to bring another member down, maybe to refill the bottle. Yeah, Lelouch is trying to give over the remaining sips to Natsumi. And AU will refill now the bottle once again from Lelouch. But this is meaning that no one is farming the mid wave.
No one's farming mid, but I think they're still very satisfied with the current state of this game. Force is 2 levels ahead of Ana right now, sitting at the very top of the net worth charts, and he's not looking like stopping. They're just looking to group up around this Vlad's, looking to potentially go into the full Wraith Pact as that first item, because they have plenty of ways to be able to interrupt the Black Hole for now. It's all about the push. That's what you need.
Both of the River Runes going to be in some trouble. Xavius up top will go down with the Thunder God's Wrath, and meanwhile to the bottom one, Lelouch this time will convert with the use of the Rolling Thunder. Now they're even going to look to try and take a stack away. It's just a double stack of the hard camp. Nothing too crazy, but it will definitely slow down the farm from T1.
Yeah, every little bit helps for sure. Thompson, he's going to walk on in and see that, well, his precious stacks are gone, although Cuckoo doesn't really have the movement speed to be able to catch up to them just yet. Could pop the Firefly if he wants that little bit of extra movement speed, but some of these rotations coming through, I mean, Shaker, well, he's all the way back in base and can't actually TP out because he tried to escape previously. I'm not sure if Ana wants to come up here and stop this push. If he goes just one step too far, Xavius just disposes it back into all those Eidolons and he goes down again. And this time they've got the detection.
Well, this is really important now for T1. They get a double stack, another stack, I should say, at the Ancients. Actually, never mind. The Thunderhide didn't, for some reason, aggro to Whitemon. But they get a second D-Ward, which means that Polaris now, they definitely had a lineup to be able to invade the jungle. We just saw it prior, but they needed the vision to play with. So now that T1 have safely secured their triangle, the Batrider can go back. Cuckoo maybe trying to get an early blink, or you can give the farm to Ana because he's very much struggling off the back of the lane.
Yeah, it's very important. I mean, any time that you see a TA, you need to give him the farm. Like, Thompson, obviously you can't exactly play aggressively as a Zeus, especially with that Thunder God's Wrath not available. Not even in a state to have the Lightning Bolts available for some of these D-Wards, but he's making a lot of these aggressive plays to be able to find someone, get any sort of pick-off, but who exactly feels killable at this stage? Really, only AU, to be honest, and, well, he's actually making some of his own stacks.
It doesn't seem like they're going to be able to blow anyone up unless it's like a blinking lasso, or like you said, maybe Cuckoo finds AU alone or another hero as well. So maybe just farming the moment for T1 because they will have a very, very strong 20-minute timing kind of push back because of how slow Ana's been farming at the moment. But he's got the Bassi tread, so he'll be able to keep up the mana inside the jungle. So plenty uses refraction to be able to buff up his farm. We're really just looking at him.
We've got a 10.5-minute Wraith Pact coming out here for
oh
for
my
Force.
lord.
Like, he is actually having such a bonkers game where you're not even going to have full value coming out of this Batrider, right? He is the one that's doing the majority of the initial damage coming through. Like I was saying before, Omni Knight doesn't do it. Earthshaker doesn't do it until he's able to get into the Aghanim Shard. So, yeah, it's all on Cuckoo's Batrider, and suddenly if you're just reducing 30% of it, what exactly are you accomplishing?
Force, is he going to solo Black Hole Ana?
He's considering it. He wants to build up those
They get the Eidolon
first.
split. He's going to step out. There we go.
Ooh.
Okay.
All
right. I guess he, on top of Xavier, still see 3 other tier 1 heroes, so maybe he felt like it was going to be a bit too difficult for him to find the Black Hole with Zephyr nearby to cancel that. So Thompson gets a much-needed kill. He's up to 2 kills of the game and very close to the Kaya for the Zeus. And I wonder what the build is going to be for Thompson in this game. You know, we've seen a lot of the Kaya into the Aghanim Shard, back into the Kaya and Sunj, and then kind of from there. The Scepter kind of afterwards as well.
Yeah, I feel like it's pretty important to get the Scepter early-ish in this game, just because you're going to have the ability to find out the Enigma from long range. You know, if you get anywhere near some of these team fights, you know, obviously you're not going to have an Aether Lens super early on. You're going to get caught by the Master. You're going to get caught by the Pango. You're going to get caught by even just the Malefice, right? So you need that additional way to be able to cancel things like the Black Hole.
Nice read. Great read from Natsumi. TP's out of bottom. Getting away from the smoke gank from T1 because they have this blink completed on Cuckoo. Really needed that kill to slow down the Phantom Lens's game, who hasn't been farming overly well. Midas now completed for Natsumi will definitely be that steroid that he requires to be able to be the late game threat that we're expecting him to be. But T1, they need to be able to convert with this smoke.
And with this tier 1 tower still surviving on the Radiant side, that's the big thing stopping a lot of these smoke
They're going
plays
to see them.
right?
Cuckoo. The smoke pops and the ward on the high ground. They know exactly where T1 are positioning. Cuckoo's unable to get the jump in, and Polaris, they're okay.
The ward as well. But yeah, I think it's not like they can though, right? This is the main issue that I had with T1's draft. They can't take towers super easily unless Ana gets involved, and because of the laning stage, it's going to be quite some time until he can. So that mid tier 1 tower blocks a lot of these smoke attempts from some of the more unorthodox angles from the left-hand side. Makes it really obvious whenever they're looking to go for any kind of attempt to gank inside of the jungle and disrupt Natsumi's farming patterns.
And again, the vision game as well from Polaris, just scouting out Cuckoo inside the jungle. A very good job. That was placed prior and it's still up and doesn't look like they have any idea of the positioning.
Can I catch out here? Thompson, oddly enough, putting himself out on the front lines. Just trying to keep bullying away, do his job in shoving out these lanes as much as he can with the Arc Lightning. Looking to use that Lightning Bolt off cooldown to be able to prevent even more of that vision that's been coming out from Polaris.
We're really getting to a stage where a big... they need to convert on this. 2 smokes in a row now, and if you don't succeed, this Blink Dagger on Cuckoo's not going to be helping out in farm. So they're going to try and move to the triangle. No one's home. Nice scan. I can't see. I think it's red. Red? Yeah, it looks...
Yeah.
Beautiful scan.
You're asking the red game colorblind guy if it's red
or
not.
As soon as I said that, I'm like, yeah, probably the wrong question to ask. I couldn't see all the lines were drawn on the map. I'm like, come on, dude.
Bot lane, you got Blink Dagger.
All right, they find him. A big jump from Cuckoo onto the PL, but there's no damage. Natsumi's okay, still gotta be cautious. The threat of the Thunder Gods, but Ana, he might be in trouble. Steps too far forward, Lelouch can bounce back with the help of Whitemon nearby though, but Ana's on the wrong side of the fissure. Xavius was able to drag him away, but there's no kills occurring down bottom as everyone gets out, but maybe Cuckoo can chase down Xavius. They know that the Marcy TP down bottom, so they'll look to dive under the tower. He will make him work for it, but in the end, it's going to be Thompson that gets the kill. And he's up to a killing spree, but look at the move from Polaris. Instantly to mid lane they go to try and take the tier 1 tower, and they could potentially get the kill as well onto Zephyr. He's got the Echo Slam at the ready. He's going to be able to drop it onto 2 heroes, but with no one else nearby. That is a wasted Echo Slam out of Zephyr.
I mean, they're probably going to lose a tier 1 and a tier 2 tower. Force is pushing up top with all the Eidolons. They have no glyph available. Killing mid isn't going to refresh it either. This is a great move coming out from Polaris, and they're very happy to get a 1-for-1 trade out of that. Late game, they've got this.
Well, they might be able to get more kills, at least for T1. They're going to jump on AU in the river, but the rest of Polaris, they're geared up and ready to fight. Natsumi's nearby along with the Lelouch, but look at them playing the distance. They know they can't heavily commit into the middle. With the Rolling Thunder still on cooldown, they will have some difficulties, but at least they'll keep their support alive in AU.
15 minutes in, no tier 2 tower, no ability for a TA to play around the jungle. Feels pretty bad. Same sort of thing with a Zeus, right? He wants to be spamming out that Arc Lightning. It can't all be in the laning stage, but it kind of has to be as well in the same breath, right? Shaker, Omni Knight, they don't deal with push very well.
But Ana has well and truly caught up. He's top of the net worth. Incredibly impressed with his farming pattern. Top lane, Zephyr will go down. Elphus is going to be out from Force to be able to cancel the TP. Now, meanwhile, mid lane, though, Lelouch, he's going to charge into the middle. Gets a double stun, but there's nowhere to bounce back on. So once again, another use of the Rolling Thunder. That's not going to pay off for Polaris, but they do at least get the tier 1 tower in the end.
They do, and they're going to get some of this vision back as well. AU and Lelouch looking to get the D-Ward happening. Now suddenly, honestly, a quarter of T1's map becomes unplayable. Just this area around the jungle, you've got probably a little bit more potential to be taking Roshan. It's all on the back of Ana if they're going to get any kind of Roche plays happening for T1. And you've got the Wraith Pact, you've got the Pango, the sidekick as well that's going to be assisting Polaris with taking that. And they're on Radiant. So really feels like they're just wanting to set themselves up around there. Xavius just playing around the bottom side of the map, the more dangerous farm, but he's tanky enough that if you're committing to kill him, it's going to need to be multiple heroes. And oh, there's that Blink Dagger.
Another very slow-paced game. Either side's been trying to make their plays to trying to set themselves apart, but there's only 1 kill in it at the moment. For Polaris, they've been able to edge out a pretty big lead early on in regards to the net worth, 3,000. But they are getting close to their item timings. Deso just completed on Ana. Still going to be quite some time away from Cuckoo's BKB. We do see the other items though. We didn't, Zephyr with the Ag Shard. So they are definitely in a position where T1 can take a fight. But it feels like it has to just be the perfect jump. And who do they need to bring down on T1? Who do they have to kill to kind of enable these team fights throughout the early game?
Who did T1 need to focus?
Yes.
Probably the Enigma, to be honest. Like, if you could get him before the Wraith Pack's there, then, you know, you're not dropping the Midnight Pulse. It means that the TA can stand and fight a little bit more without worrying as much about the refraction charges. But, I mean, I guess you're into an Unleash, you're into a Swashbuckle, you're into PL and all the illusions. So, I mean, it's kind of getting to the stage where there isn't exactly an ideal target. And whichever target you find, it's going to take a big cooldown to be able to kill them, right? Probably the lasso. This was the big thing that had me leaning towards Polaris's draft as the stronger of the two, because Earthshaker, Omni, they don't do that job at all.
So it definitely feels like it's just another game where, I mean, it's just such an easy thing to say, but it just comes down to vision. Like, if you're able to get those key components out of Polaris in the team fights, it could help out Tier 1, but it's very similar for Polaris. If you kill off the Omni Knight to start, potentially if you're able to find Thompson out of position, that can really limit the damage.
Oh yeah, by far, Thompson is the most important one that needs to be dying here. They know that the jungle is being farmed as well. Zephyr, somehow, the creep died and went over to Cuckoo instead, the neutral item. So immediately revealing that someone was taking the stack.
We mentioned before that Arna struggled in the lane, but his capability to catch back up is definitely one of the best here with the Templar Assassin, and that's kind of similar with the Phantom Lancer as well. Also wasn't getting the greatest amount of farm off the back of the lane, but thanks to the Midas, Natsumi is top of the net worth. 1-0-1. Yasha Diffusal Blade is along with the Midas, but he's still going to need quite some items to be able to take these fights. Still a difficult game for the PL to play into.
I mean, for sure, the timing they're playing for is the
Well, it's
hard.
under mid. They get the blink from Lelouch. It's a decent start, but they don't get to bounce back onto Thompson. At least the Purge going to be able to hold him inside the river. Xavier's going to try and fall with the damage as well, but Thompson's still alive for the moment. Still Force jumps in, gets him. Elephus. The answer from Cuckoo's not enough. They'll be able to charge him down, and now without the back rider, along with the Zeus, it's easy pickings for the rest of Polaris. As Lelouch can close the distance onto Whitemon, and this could open up the pit now for Polaris.
Lelouch, more like Lel ouch. He was able to get right on top of them, get all of that mana burned off very quickly into that team fight. And, you know, it was another pretty decent Fisher coming out just to try and stop the pathing of the Rolling Thunder, but the work had been done. The Zeus had no mana. You hadn't any abilities to be able to deal with that PL or the summons. It's just a draft that's come together so well for Polaris.
And TA is a hero that heavily relies on early Roshans. You are one that can just completely take over the game. Without that second life to play with here for Arna, it's going to be very awkward for him. A blink completed, but it's going to be looking for the BKBs. Cuckoo just will get away.
He'll be able to get the D-ward off at least. So a little bit more room to be able to play
They're
around.
tipping in.
Yeah, he's just coming straight on in.
Ultimate to back up. I
Low on mana on
doesn't have
Lelouch,
the
actually.
mana. A lot of damage. If they can play the distance, they can definitely get the kill. But a banishment's going to give him enough time. Force will even posture aggressively with the Wraith Pack just in case. So they'll cover the retreat. They'll be able to get out of the Dire's jungle.
That's it. That is what it's all about, though, right? Playing the distance. And I feel like you have two heroes that have that capability in Thompson as well as Cuckoo on the Zeus and Batrider. And I mean, someone needs to commit. Oftentimes it's being Cuckoo just because you have no one else for that purpose. But again, like, who does he kill? We see him use the lasso and barely tickle someone because the follow-up damage just isn't there.
All right, smoke off from Polaris. Let's see where they can get out of this. They see Arna farming in the lane down bottom. He will have Whitemon connecting shortly. Whitemon's in a great spot to pop the smoke. Great positioning out of the Omni Knight, but still Lelouch. He's going to try and target down the Templar Assassin instead because they've got the Black Hole follow-up solo onto Arna, but that's all they needed. The first ultimate of the game nets them a big kill, which will now open up the Tier 1 tower.
Very, very happy to be able to pop that one. You know, there aren't many safe black hole situations, so if you're able to get one off onto a high priority hero like Arna on his TA, then you'll gladly take it. Still no way to be able to interrupt it if the Shaker's not nearby. Batrider, of course, still miles away from being able to get into the Aether Lens, let alone the Octarine Core.
Lelouch is going to be in some trouble.
All
It's
right,
a great
free kill.
pickoff for T1 to find. A big streak over to Thompson. 606 gold. A little bit of gold as well into Cuckoo's bank.
Yeah, gives him the Aether Lens. So that'll be a nice little pickup for Thompson.
And a blink now. That's a pretty decent timing from Zeph, honestly. Shard and blink at 21 minutes. Cuckoo's going to find another kill. So just Polaris bleeding a couple lives across the map, even though they got the kill previously on Ana. T1 still showing they got the chops to be able to combat early on.
Yeah, really not necessary to give up a few of those kills. I understand the Lelouch because they weren't expecting both Thompson and Cuckoo to be in the same lane, but yeah, definitely didn't need to be given that one up on the Shadow Demon. Speaking of, by the way, he is going to enable himself to be able to play super defensively as well with that Blink Dagger that he's got queued up, just 300 gold away. So again, it's another one of these instances where you're going to get to the stage where he is the target, excuse me, that you're wanting to be going on, because he's always going to be able to get that save through, but it just made it so much harder once he gets that Blink.
In regards to Whitemon's game on the Omni Knight, because you mentioned that you felt like he was the important piece for T1 in game 1. What can we see him do to kind of help out T1 in their success in the team fights? He's got a mechanism queued up as his first item. Is there a route that he might be considering going down afterwards? I know it's kind of a pipe dream, but what kind of is the play for him?
I'll be honest, I was referring to more about the laning stage for that, just with more points of the purification to be able to deal with it. So we saw what happened, right? Ana just got completely bodied because he was having to deal with all those Eidolons. Maybe... I mean, he's going for the mech. Could he go like a Boots of Bearing sort of build just to be able to buff up Cuckoo a little bit more to provide the ability to play from range for not just him, but his entire team? Would help with whoever gets hit by the Diffuser Blade active too.
That's the real PL. Natsumi's posturing very aggressive at the moment. Trying to force some reactions, and he does just that. T1 bringing multiple members to try and keep Whitemon alive, and the Omni Knight's going to be able to get out. But still the net worth lead, it's growing for Polaris. Even though they found this first Roshan and not really taking too much map control, it is slowly bumping up in their favor. It's up to 6,000 now, the highest the lead has been so far in this third game.
He's just playing essentially the exact same game that he played last time, right? Just with a PL instead of the Naga Siren. Using the illusions, I mean, back with very original OG, first major winning OG. Oh, hold on, actually. Top lane. Looks like Thompson's able to get the invis. They were playing all around these illusion carries, right? The PL, the Naga Siren, the Alchemist, which back in the day was going into the Manta style. So I feel like if there's anyone that's going to be able to address this, it's Ana, but he's going to need to get vocal. And that's not really something that he's known for.
They just going to tick out, and Cuckoo's on the charge. BKB completed. They see the Firefly. Thunder God to try and give them some information. Natsu with the jump in, but Cuckoo, he doesn't get the initiation. Now Cuckoo might be in some trouble. He's going to be protected with the BKB for a moment, but look at Lelouch just charging towards the backline, trying to create some chaos. It'll open up Xavius to move into the middle. They're onto Thompson, but he's going to be fine. A Guardian Angel buying some time so Thompson can reposition. They'll kill off Xavius. Meanwhile, Cuckoo's stuck on the high ground. But it looks like the Batrider here too will be fine as well. A great fight from T1. They only get the kill. Okay, well, Cuckoo goes down as well. But I'm quite impressed with T1 and how they're able to delta split away from that team fight. You're playing with the vision of the higher ground, even though in the end they kind of lose out in the trade. But they do show, you know, they've got the capability to avoid Polaris and kind of keep these cores alive.
My main concern, though, is that you've had to pop the Thunder God's Wrath and the Guardian Angel just to be able to survive. Well, one, to get the vision, to be able to maybe catch out the PL, and two, you pop the Guardian Angel so that the enemy position 4 didn't kill your mid laner. So now that they don't have those tools, you TP back in. Lelouch, 10 seconds away from the Rolling Thunder. He's got the completed Aeon Disc if he wants as well. So this feels like it's in a really good spot for Polaris to look to make an aggressive play. And with this lane just pushing in with the Eidolons, they're going to be in a really good spot to be able to do so. There we go. Go for it. Only one not in this smoke is Natsumi, just playing around the top side. And that's the lane that's the most pushed out. So if they take a successful team fight, if they're able to find a pickoff, then they can quickly converge onto that mid lane or potentially even like push high ground a little bit. And oh man, he's got the heart too.
They know they're
much
smoke.
tankier now.
Lelouch picked up a DD under the cover of the smoke, and there was a trap there. So T1 ping it out. They're going to back up safely. You just mentioned as well what the position 4 in Polaris is able to do in the team fights, and you take a look at the next item from Xavier's. We see a lot of kind of the BKB into the Basher afterwards, but this time it's actually going to be the Nullifier to look to address the Omni Knight. I like it, honestly, because it's going to be really nice versus Zeus as well, because more than likely late game Zeus will be considering an Aeon Disc. Position.
Aeon Discs, 4 staffs, all that.
Xavier's, if he drops a ward, they're going to see a lot of heroes on T1. The trap again, a lot of information that Arn has been able to provide them.
They back off immediately to the only place they feel safe. It wasn't actually safe on Division, but they look to de-ward that on Cuckoo. It really does feel like these TA traps are providing so much information. Has Arna gotten into the Aghanim Shard yet? No, not quite. So that might be a difference maker.
Another smoke. That's 3 smokes in a row for Polaris. They sense an opening. Of course, Enigma with BKB. Unless Cuckoo uses the lasso, then this is just a guaranteed free kill onto anyone in the fight. But 3 smokes, if they don't get anything out of this, will really open up T1 to maybe play aggressive now on the map.
Potentially. It's a really long Roche respawn as well. So, again, they want to get a pick off because they know that this is their strong timing. T1 realize that, so they're playing uber defensively. So it's good play on both sides, but like you mentioned, it does open up a small window for T1. However, Polaris are happy with going late. It's an Enigma and a Phantom Lancer who's in an advantageous core-to-core matchup. So things are just going to get easier. We mentioned before Xavier's on his Marcy. Getting into that Nullifier is just huge, right? Position 4 with a Nullifier, kind of nuts if you're able to get to that stages, and it never really feels like the Omni Knight is going to have that same level of impact. Maybe the Shaker. Zephyr's been playing pretty well.
T1 at least, they have been able to de-ward both the observers that were placed on the cliff, kind of with the top power rune and the bottom power rune, so this will give them a bit more of a... Oh, look at the jumping. Cuckoo onto the Marcy in the mid lane. The Lucius instantly going to be able to follow in pursuit. Trying to charge down Thompson with the Diffusal slow. He'll be able to close the distance, but Whitemon's going to protect him and the Fissure as well. Once again, the T1 supports are doing a really good job to cover the retreat whenever the Rolling Thunder is used.
It was always this duo within SEA for at least 2 years. They were the best support duo out there, and well, clearly showing why. Just their positioning always on point, spell usage, recognition of where's safe to play on the map, and well, I feel like they're not going to feel too confident in going forward now because that BKB Black Hole Disruptor in the Flaming Lasso, it's not available
anymore. Look at this Observer Ward. It's giving them so much information. They're going to be cautious, T1. Natsumi's going to charge forward, but the traps again, giving T1 that opportunity to be able to reposition. Ana's considering about beating back onto the Phantom Lancer, but he's very hesitant with his own positioning.
He bought the shard on Ana as well, so he's going to have that little bit of silence to be able to stop, for example, the Shadow Demon for going for the saves.
They have the Rolling Thunder back up. They used it previously, I believe, with the Arcane from Lelouch. And have it back available for this team fight. Next, Roche is going to be spawning shortly as well, but look at them charging forward. That's a big pickoff. They get the Earthshaker. It's a lot of their stun control in the middle of the fight.
They found Thompson. That's even better.
They're going to go to the Omni Knight instead. They're onto the Whitemon Omni, but they might not be able to bring him down. Instantly utilizing the ultimate. It's going to give him enough coverage, but out to the right. Forces in. What a disastrous black hole as T1 have got no response. The ultimate to secure the team fight is dire. They need to get out. You can't lead back into the middle now. It's Polaris. They'll come out on top once again and more than likely secure the pit.
They will indeed. They've got the vision. They've got the heroes to be able to do so. And well, take an absolute miracle play coming through here from Zephyr with maybe an Echo Slam to go into the pit. But it's just not worth it. I feel like this Aegis isn't going to change matters all that much. Obviously, it would have been great if T1 could pick it up, but it's not worth the risk. Not when you're risking falling out of these SEA qualifiers and losing a chance for that straight path to the group stage.
Radiant are scanning.
They're just doing the little things right. The positioning from AU, scouting out any kind of smokes that might bring the game back in T1's favor. The Aeon Disc purchase coming out from Lelouch, making him survive during the middle of that team fight. He went onto the backlines and Ana, he was pretty good with the right
clicks. Marcy. Kuku's gonna get the jump as well to the Shadow Deer, but now Natsumi's shown up. A great leap from Thompson up to the high ground. The Zoo's gonna be able to reposition. Kuku protected for the moment with the BKB as well, but he's got some difficulties with escaping because as soon as the BKB expires, they'll close the distance and secure the kill. But Ana up to the north is having a free fight for the moment. Zephyr's gonna step in with the Echo Slam as well, but there's no damage follow-up. As Polaris once again doing an incredible job thanks to the banishment from AU, buying them enough time to retreat.
They're so low as well. They all get away on barely anything. Xavius, he did have to use the buyback, but again, it's another kill that you're able to claim onto this Batrider. More scaling that's going to be coming through. I mean, PL, level 21. Thanks for a little bit of Phantom Rush range. He can look to play from afar. It's really... Obviously, they've got the capabilities to deal with it with the Zeus. You know, Thompson, he's level 18 now, so that's nice. Them a little bit lower cooldown on the Thunder Gods and the bonus damage coming through too, but if you're revealing yourself to be able to clear these PL illusions, then you just open yourself up to get jumped on. There's the BKB on Thompson. He's tired of getting mana burned. He's tired of getting chain stunned with this Rolling Thunder. Kind of feels like I feel like they need a gem on Polaris. The only thing in my eyes that's keeping them in this duel.
What's on at the moment? Beautiful double fissure. Are they going to be able to move in though with this start? T1 playing the distance. Ana's going to try and get the jump. The last right click, it's enough to get the kill. That's a big one to be able to bring down. They get Marcy as well, but in the middle of the team fight, Lelouch and Natsumi, they're onto Kuku. It's not going to be enough damage because Mimo Ana is just ripping the backline apart. A triple kill for the Templar Assassin. It's going to move over towards the Pain Clear with the blink back online. Ana gets an Ultra, and all of a sudden, T1 are back in this game 3.
All it takes is one team fight, and it's just a little bit short as well of the initiation that they were going for. They were a little bit short on some of these big ultimate cooldowns, and even just the Aeon Disc wasn't available on the Pango at the time, so it meant that they were having to be forced away. It gives them a longer cooldown now on the Aeon Disc, which means that they're able to play around some of these longer cooldowns a little bit more effectively on T1. Obviously, taking a Tier 1 tower isn't absolutely amazing, but Ana, he is starting to really dish out the damage, and I think he's finished up the Daedalus as well.
We see what can happen when... Well, back to live. Natsumi's on some of the heroes at T1. Kuku's going to be okay. I don't know if Whitemon's going to be in trouble, though. Phantom Rush is back up. Natsumi's got to be a bit cautious. They're starting to connect. Zephyr has the Echo Slam, but without other members, they won't be able to get the kill, and that is the gem. Well, it should please get the gem. Please don't let the Cory get the gem.
Yeah, AU's pinging it. AU's pinging it. Oh, Korea. Run away! Run away! Oh, not the Shadow Demon.
The miss!
Oh, the miss!
No!
The miss
How
again!
many misses? What's going on?
Okay.
What did I just witness? What? Oh my lord. Alright, this is a big item. PL's about to have Nullifier completed, so that will really take the Omni Knight completely out of the equation.
You think he immediately goes and buys it and says, look, you don't have Guardian Angel for this little bit. We've got a minute left on Aegis. Let's try and get at least this Tier 2 tower.
Yeah, I think so. And I think for T1, very similar to what we saw how their last team fight played out, it needs to be the Earthshaker and TA combined together. I've mentioned a lot, but you need to play distance. You need to kind of play the edge of the team fights, fissure from afar into the enchant totem, and have the long range TA be able to right click them down, kite in and out. If you can do that successfully and kill off some of the supports, all of a sudden you got a numbers advantage, and we can just see what the damage can come out from Ana. Because he went this Daedalus, like he's avoiding BKB, and no doubt about it, you have an Omni Knight to protect you, so now that he's got his damage items, he can consider going back into the BKB to kind of enable him to right click.
He's been caught out in the lane a few times, but his positioning in the team fights has been pretty damn solid, right? To be able to get away with not going that BKB against a Pango that's constantly rolling through, against the Marcy that's wanting to jump on top of you every single time. Get that bottom tower for free. It was already very low. Don't know if they'll be able to claim mid, though. Thompson doing his best to shove it out. Backed up by Whitemon, just playing a little bit further behind. They're going for another smoke here. Will this one catch out? And they know that Ana's up top. Might be Zephyr in good position once again to be able to find this one out. Actually avoid the lane though. They're trying for the big wraparound. He's not quite in the Ana spot. He's a little bit south of that. But Xavier's will the smoke pop. See the shaker. That's not the target they want, though. Oh, it gets up and gets out in time. Oh, the Spidey senses, man.
Very nicely done. Very nicely done indeed. T1. 6,000 deficit for them. And the items once again starting to be accumulated. You even got some 20 talents, in particular Thompson. Extra damage with the Thunder God's Wrath, plus 100. What level is Ana? Oh, he's 22, so he's well and truly past that. It's gone for the Melt Dispels in a game like this.
Tense, isn't it?
Oh, very tense, with so much on the line as well. We've mentioned time and time again, but the last chance qualifiers are going to be an absolute bloodbath. Only 2 teams moving over to the group stages. And both T1 and Polaris want that opportunity to face talent in the grand finals. Making it to the groups would mean so much for these teams. They don't just want to be in the last chance qualifiers. They want to be battling it out at the TI venue.
They know there's smokes happening. They saw Thompson using the Chain Lightning in the laning stage. They want to find this backline. If they could get Force, that would be enormous. He doesn't quite yet have the A on disc, so he's immediately booking it to the rest of his team and the safety of AU.
They're going to see Xavier's, the only target they've seen at the moment. It looks like T1. I like the call. Yeah. Like, no, we're not going to take a fight where we know Polaris have been able to set up a formation and drop some wards down. We'll force them to come to us, but kind of the issue with that is top is getting shoved out, so someone might have to show.
I was thinking maybe Force might have summoned
Cuckoo just stole a Spell Prism. That's a pretty big item, man.
Was it stolen?
Yeah.
Oh, it was.
Yeah. Instantly just runs over to Thompson, gives him the Spell Prism. A little bit of a laugh as well. All right.
I want to see if they get a telescope as well on T1's side. They got one on Polaris, but he wasn't really lucky on Ana with some of his neutral items. Like now, the Mindbreaker, the Titan Sliver, there, of course, totally fine. But he just wants that little bit of extra attack range, right? From either the Grove Bow or the Enchanted Quiver. Just so that he could be a little bit, again, more playing the backlines, playing around the fact that up until now, he hasn't had the BKB, but I guess now that he's picked it up, he feels a little bit more capable of being able to man up and take these team fights.
Finally, Tier 2 Tower is going to be playing for T1, so they will be able to get the outpost control now. Let's see if they want to set the formation up down bottom and take a fight. They've got a decent ward and a couple traps as well to scout out. Of course, Radiant do have this gem over onto Xavier's. He's also changed up the build, feeling like the Nullifier was a bit too difficult of a route to go down.
Second Spell Prism available was just picked up, and it's actually Ana that's going to be holding on to it for now. Never mind. It's the Titan Sliver back in the item slot. I mean, you got to be giving that one over to Whitemon or Zephyr, surely. He's still holding on to an Arcane Ring.
Maybe Cuckoo might take the Spell Prism and Zephyr. They're going back and forth. I don't know what Zephyr wants. He's got the Timeless Relic at the moment. And yeah, Cuckoo's got the Spell Prism. All right, smoke on smoke. Guile, they're going to path over to Radiant's jungle. Whitemon do not want to enter the high ground. This is a hero that is so important to the lineup at T1. You cannot lose the Omni Knight at the start of the fight. There's Cuckoo. He gets a jump. Over to Xavier's. AU's instantly in with the banishment, but there's a double damage rune as well. Natsumi's going to snag that up, so they will have this advantage now as instantly T1 on the retreat. They'll be able to get back towards the T2 tower. Can they go back in though? Because meanwhile, Whitemon, he's completely isolated a rest from the T1 members. They'll kill off the Omni Knight. He does have a buyback to rejoin if the team fight breaks out. Looks like that's not going to be the case, as Polaris, they're happy with what they've got.
What I really like about how, I want to say it's Thompson making a lot of these calls. They are just refusing to fight under areas where they don't have the information advantage. As soon as they saw that Observer Ward with the Lightning Bolt being dropped next to Whitemon, they did
that's an aggressive blink. Zephyr's going to be in some trouble now. Instant use of the Nullifier, but the Acro Slam, it's not going to be able to get enough distance away as the Illusions will finish the kill. Another support going down. And that's the Acro Slam expended as well, so they will not have this for the Roche fight.
And it's the longest possible Roche fight as well. It was like 2 minutes, 50 seconds, so it's going to be favoring T1 a little bit, allowing Zephyr to respawn and still haven't impacted this fight. Of course, the The Aghanim Shard means that you're not useless outside of these Echo Slams. Of course, he doesn't want to buy back, though. That Wind Waker could be a big difference maker as well in some of these team fights. If you're able to catch out someone that's getting chain stunned or within the black hole. Buybacks, they're the most important resource right now. Everyone has one except for Marcy and PL, and well, Natsby's very close to being able to pick his up as well. They're just camping around this Roche pit. They know that they just don't want to give this free objective over. It's going to be the third one. Will it have the Shard or will it have the Aghanim Scepter? Both are pretty ideal targets, but you would have to say the Refresher, which is on the Roche, is what Force is eyeing up right now.
See Xavius on the high ground. Let's look at the blink away. So Dire, they're going to move on over. Again, no Echo Slam for this team fight.
The full wraparound. If they could catch AU, that'd be great. Really is hindering Cuckoo's effectiveness, but you can't go in
Cuckoo.
first with the lasso onto the SD.
So it's going to pop. Let's see. They want to look to jump. Marcy's away from the team, so once they're in, they're going to lead him with the lasso to try and bring him down, but the damage isn't there. Lelouch, look at the rolling thunder. Now the black hole onto 2 and eclipse the important target on Ana. Now they can look to clean up the members of T1 as one by one they go down, and Polaris have 0 casualties. What another incredible team fight coming out from Radiant, and now they can reap the rewards of the Roshan.
Oh, just all that positioning coming through there. He's even got the AR disc in his backpack right now on Force, but just the Aetherleds providing that little bit of extra cast range. Same sort of thing with a Psychic Headband. I think Marcy's holding onto the Telescope as well. That was the longest range Black Hole I've ever seen. And
Cuckoo as well. They're going to get another pickoff. Potentially going to make it a team wipe in the end, Cuckoo. Ducking and diving, sidestepping as well. Blink up shortly. Oh, Cuckoo. Can you get the TP out? Looks like you'll make it.
Well, Xavier's unintentional grief coming through there meant that the Malefice stuns weren't actually connecting in onto him, and they could get that consistent damage through, but there we go. Refresher Shard being picked up. I kind of want to see him put the Aeon disc in the old backpack. There we go. Actually gives it over to Lelouch, did he? He did. Even just the casual plate mail. He's been far too many times where Lelouch has been brought super low by Ana just from the right clicks. The Shadow Demon's not nearby though, having just reclaimed the outpost, so I wonder if that's going to give them the sense that they could maybe look to make this high ground defense, go for an all-in play, drag them back underneath the tier 4 towers, but this is still a level 25 PL with Aegis that you're having to contend with Nullifier. Speaking of that Shadow Demon, not quite yet level 18, but he does have the Aghanim Scepter as well. So now you've got 3 different ways to be able to purge off things like the Guardian Angel.
Do we feel like Polaris, even with this Aegis advantage and 14,000 net worth lead, that they can crack the high ground? Or is it just they need a pick off beforehand?
I think they're always capable of doing it, right? You can just send the PL illusions there. I believe Natsumi's got the Aghanim Shard. Yeah, he does. They're tanky as hell. Skadi, Heart, Sanjin Yasha, Ascetics Cap, everything that's just going to give a ton of HP through. And then the Eidolons as well, of course, assisted by the Wraith Pact. So you think about that and you think, well, you know, Zeus is probably going to be able to deal with them reasonably with the Arc Lightning, but the Eidolons have a lot of magic resistance, so they're going to be surviving a fair amount. And then all that really is again, just revealing the positioning from the Zeus. That's going to enable you to make these dives happen with the Marcy, with the Pangolier, and if Zeus dies, the team fight's just completely open for you. They've still got plenty of buybacks, though. That is one thing that T1 can look to play around with this high ground defense.
That's really the big advantage that they are going to have, in fact, is just these buybacks. So we'll see how much they're going to come into factor here. We'll need probably a couple if Polaris do look to siege.
Really want to see AU just prioritize that level 18 as much as he can. He's, what, 12 experience away. It's only 100 damage, but it does make a difference if you're able to just layer this one out onto 3 separate heroes. That's 300 extra damage that you're outputting as a support in a team fight. Close that up, and there we go.
It'll be very difficult for T1 to be able to exit the base. Or this far behind. Maybe you're looking to try and give as much experience as you can over to Ana. Closing on level 25, so probably the refraction instances that we're going to see come out for the PL might consider the bash. Could be an answer to the black hole if he's not caught. Does have a decent amount of range, but Maybe with the nerf, the refraction instance at 25, we might see a little bit more of the meld hit bash, but it's pretty much always been the left talent.
Feels like he's been getting caught pretty consistently, though, and that's not even a slide on him. You know, he has to go in. He needs to be that damage coming through, but Force, he's just using all the tools that Polaris have at their disposal to create havoc, create chaos. I mean, look at what you've got coming in. A level 25 PL with Aegis, all these illusions. You've got a Rolling Thunder coming through. You've got a Marcy jumping in on top of everyone. You have to deal with them, and the second you forget about them, that's when Enigma really starts to show his worth. And up top, Zephyr trying to cut this lane as much as he can, but Lushi knows.
Oh, no.
Oh, he actually gets the Stormcrafter. The damage disabling the... Oh, is he going to get the blink away?
Oh, the swashbuckle on the nick of time, and now Lelouch.
Oh.
No way. Oh, on the other way, the U-turn, back he goes, and will end up getting the kill. Very nicely done. All right, pick up front of the Earthshaker and into the top lane, getting shoved out. And I love what Polaris are doing as well. They're making sure they stay by the bottom triangle so that T1 can't even shove out bottom. Oh my lord, Arna, way too close.
Quick fingers, man. It's been around for a while, but he's still got them zoomer fingers on Arna.
Close to 25 as well for him.
Xavier's about to drop.
Easy.
Free kill.
All right.
That's a dieback
the
timer
gem.
as well.
And the gem.
Do get the gem.
Dire's bottom tower
Saviors.
is under attack.
All right. They're stalling out the Aegis. Not too fun to push into a Zeus. Spam of the fissures. Even honestly, the Batrider with this level 20 talent is a big issue as well. And if he can ever get to that late stage of the 25, then it's very difficult with the spam. So they're not going to be able to crack the high ground with this Aegis. 50 seconds left. So it's just up to them now to try and get as much farm as they possibly can. Lelouch, he went the Rolling Thunder cooldown for the level 25 talent. We see the PL as well. He's already had his for quite some time, but the Doppelganger's cooldown. So it's just up to them to be able to work towards their next set of items. But are they ever going to reach max capacity here? In particular, PL, 7-0 and 10. 34,000 net worth. What can he
How much bigger could the man get? I mean, he's got a Bloodthorn, he's got a Nullifier in his backpack. You know, like, it feels like he's pretty much max capacity at the moment.
I guess, what, Scepter, Moonshard into Roots of Travel, probably for Natsumi. Like you said.
We're really splitting hairs there.
If we're really like saying like he's not full slotted yet, then that's probably what's going to be next on the cards for Mr. Natsumi's. There we go. Third Aegis is soon to expire. T1, they're trying to set up on the top side lane, but nice read once again from Lelouch. He's going to look to jump out, so that also gives Arna the level 25. He did go for the meld hit bash. Okay, very interesting. Bottom lane, Thompson. Forces in. Oh no, they clipped the Batrider as well, so they can't get to break. They won't be able to cancel the black holes again. Onto 2 goes the ultimate for the instant use of the buyback. T1, they need to get something out of the top, some buyback, but they're retreating. Instead, Cuckoo is out to the left. The lasso drag back with Arna nearby. They'll bring down Lelouch, and Aeon Disc will only delay it. So we're 1 for 1. The pop refresher. Force has got another black hole. This might catch them off guard.
Yeah, they're still clumping up. Not close enough that they're all going to get caught in the same black hole, but they want to make sure that they're able to take this team fight. This is one of the few instances where they've actually had the outnumber. Xavius, he's still playing pretty fearlessly. Looking to place that super deep observer ward. Try and find the pick off. Thompson would be the absolute dream. Then they would have nothing to stop this Phantom Lancer at all.
Cuckoo's positioning, however, is going to be able to scout them out. It's kind of big that Force's Aeon Disc got popped. A bit more difficult now for him to be able to position throughout the fights.
Just go for the smoke again. They want to make this happen. They want to try and invade, go for the full wraparound. They should know that they're playing around. Immediate ping saying, get the hell out of here. We don't want to be able to give them a way to be able to come back into this game.
Whitemon, you're very far on the front line. Same with Arna. They'll get the instance onto the real Phantom Lancer, but the chain control's not going to be there as he moves over to the right side with the Echo Slam now. They're trying to target him down with the black hole of a lifetime! Force, where's the damage Nacho. Natsumi's going to try and turn it back around. A doppelganger targeting down Ana. They've got the real TA. They're
got to get on
to secure
Thompson.
the kill, but Ana's going to buy back. He's going to try and rejoin the fight, but it might be too late as Natsumi's too far. They don't have the answers to the PL, as now they can look to clean up. Ana brought back, and he might be sent to the grave for the final time this game. But a Fissure buying some valuable seconds, but they'll toss him back into the middle of the team fight as Natsumi's locked onto his target. Ana's gone, no
Ultra.
Thompson as well, and look at Lelouch. It might be a rampage, and you bet it is. Natsumi, give him the double rampage, and that'll be it. What a team fight to send Polaris to the grand finals and get their rematch against Talon. Oh my!
So close, yet so far, so many times. They've always seemed to be the bridesmaids, Polaris, but this time around, still no emotion. You just knocked out T1 of these qualifiers, my guys, and, well, they're looking just composed, cool, calm, collected, and Force, he gets the shoulder rub. It is all on the back of him. Understandably, T1, they're feeling a little bit deflated right now, but what a performance coming through from the draft.